Ooh, he just had a Terminator moment. Hello and welcome to Retro Game Connect. I'm Dan Mastriani.
And I'm Ian Butterfield.
And yes, we're finishing up our three-part Jak and Daxter special with the final game in the trilogy, Jak 3.
So
My once again, we are playing the PS4 remaster.
On a PS4 Pro?
Yes. Not going to get an argument about how remastered it is, but this is, so we say the end of the trilogy. Basically, we're just, the special is just the three main games. Obviously, there are spin-offs, and
one of these days we will get to Jak X, but we want to record it when we can actually play two players side by side.
Yeah, so I feel like that's one of the things we have going for us on the channel is we actually play two-player games, two-player. I've seen channels that have two people and still play the game one player. I'm like, why don't you have the other guy playing? Never mind.
Because this also does fall into the same pattern that Crash Bandicoot had with Naughty Dog, where they do three games that are platformers and then a racer.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for Uncharted Racing. What's up with that?
But Jak X Combat Racing is much darker than Crash Bandicoot Team Racing.
I mean,
Jak X
from 2 on is darker than Crash.
Well, yeah, but like understand the reason that they have to race is because someone that you killed in Jak 2 left in his will this sneaky thing. It starts out as like, they're reading this guy's will for some reason. And
it sounds like a long conversation we should probably save when we're actually playing Jak X.
They poison all of them. And the only way to get the antidote is to win the race. To win the Grand Prix.
The antidote for the poison.
Yeah, I've seen that dumb. I love it. But yeah, let's start the game.
Let's get going.
Just, groovy.
Yeah, so that's the interesting thing about this one is it came out just around a year. I think even a little less than the last game.
There's a decent amount of this that is reused from the last game. Because a good chunk of the game still takes place in Haven City and all that. Make sure that subtitles are enabled.
Yeah, so they did it pretty fast. I don't actually have much on this, but one other thing I can mention is that whereas the previous game was heavily influenced by Grand Theft Auto 3, this one was influenced by Smuggler's Run, which is why you spend so much time racing in the desert. Which was also published by Rockstar, but I don't believe they developed it.
Count Beaker's a jerk.
There must be another way. Your protest was overruled. This dark eco freak is dangerous. Now drop the cargo.
I like that he smirks at dangerous.
Beyond words. Although I do have something to say. Not everyone agrees with this.
Some kind of monkey bird?
Yep. He's introduced in Jak 2.
Actually, we are not that outraged. Farewell, Jak. Stay out of the sun. Drink lots of water, if you can find it. Jak? Go back to the city, Dax.
I'm sorry. The council is too powerful. There was nothing
I know.
You just stay alive, you hear me? That's an order. Someone will find you. I promise.
May the precursors...
She is actually the daughter of the Baron Praxis.
Ah. Surprising they get along so well.
She was part of the underground. She was part of the rebellion.
The cliche rebellious daughter?
Yep.
Okay, tough guy. You got us into this mess. Now you gotta get us out. Ah, what a team we'll make. Let's just get moving. But which way?
Indeed.
Oh, and I suppose you know where you're going, huh? Better than you do, bent beak. Let's just move.
Okay,
so yes, this whole cutscene is actually taking place before you actually even reach the press start screen.
Yep.
No, it was yours. Only a bird brain could have thought this
I've seen stuff like that. So, did you ever play Smuggler's Run? Because I did not. I remember seeing it around.
The city hates us. We said Get those lowlifes.
But I don't think I ever actually.
Flashback time.
Oh, that's convenient.
Divided. Reports say new Crimson Death bots are holding a vital section of the industrial area. My men are getting their asses kicked. The KG have a new leader. We're trying to find out who it is.
I'm afraid I've got more bad news. A large group of surviving metalheads have concentrated in another section of the city.
So it looks like they did meet up with him.
Metalheads have survived. The battle.
Yeah, they found everybody.
They found everybody.
Yeah,
People
they
are
found
blaming you,
Kira.
Jack.
You find out she's building racing zoomers.
Good plan, Jack.
Ah.
A nap would be nice. Just a teensy little rest.
This bird is overcooked.
The palace.
Report.
It's bad. The city's become a battlefield.
It's pretty involved, actually.
Oh yeah.
And the surviving metalheads have expanded their hold on the
Like I said, the Jack and Daxter universe has an expandable lore that could
About you, Jack. It doesn't
be
look good.
insane if they actually delved into it.
The metalheads get into the city.
You don't believe that, do you?
That Resistance leader guy, I have trouble taking him seriously with his voice.
Torn is odd.
No, I.
Well, that seems like a problem.
Technically, Jack is the rightful heir to the throne of Haven City.
Yeah. But they don't have a throne anymore, they have a council.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I don't much buy into you being in charge just because of who your daddy is.
Well, you don't know who that is yet.
I'm just saying, I don't have much use for aristocracy.
We found some live ones. Barely. Here's the beacon we
This aristocracy wasn't that bad, actually.
will take
Yeah.
them with us. Let's move.
It's probably because they're fictional.
Well, yeah. Baron Praxis overthrew the aristocracy and was the evil one.
Yeah, that's,
See? And now it moves right into the start. And look, it's the same ring from before, but it's slightly different.
ooh, watch out.
Just gonna continue without saving.
That's fine. But that's a pretty common trope is, you got your good rulers overthrown.
Yep. Alright.
I love water. Oh yes. It's so good. Is it bad? Well, you've come back from the dead, have you?
So Jack's got his new design that's, you know, just, again, every game, it's slightly different.
Wait, nobody lives outside Haven's walls. Not a whole city.
Ah yes.
I mean, it's nice to change your clothes at some point over several years.
Just as you were. But now that you have been saved, your life belongs to the people of Sparkus. And we will use it well, if it's actually worth anything. Hey, that sounds like a bad deal. You are in no position to deal. Out here, everything is either useful or dead weight. Prove yourselves worthy,
Well.
or the desert will be your grave.
You need to work on making a better first impression.
In the unforgiving wasteland, we value strength and survival above all. We will see where you stand soon enough. Complete your training, then enter the arena. Just the break.
So you can see the precursor orb floating right behind him.
In Sparkus.
Ah.
It's quite
I was looking at the subtitles, I missed it.
What
Oh, yeah, I
happens
see
to
it.
the ones that don't crawl out? Then it will be as if we never found you.
Mm-hmm.
I was afraid of that.
Alright.
All citizens of Sparkus, welcome to the arena of death.
I have trouble telling how seriously I'm supposed to take this.
Yourselves in fear.
It's half and half. There's jokes, but it's a very serious environment.
Fighting to
Yeah.
prove their worth to stay among us.
Is that supposed to be sand down there, or?
No, it is magma.
Oh,
It is, yeah,
That's
that is
fun.
lava.
Pecker, there you are.
His name is Pecker.
Deimos says I am to be his new counselor. He says my wisdom will serve him well. Oh yeah, and Deimos also says that you two are likely to die in the arena today. And he hopes your death is very
So I see in the desert now, so he's got a tank top.
Yep.
He's right. You will most likely die. And yes, Pecker is my new advisor.
Unlike you, some people appreciate my talents. It beats
Going
my
all
ability.
road warrior now.
I saw a few of the fights earlier. Ooh, not a pretty sight.
Why, you little...
Let the games begin!
Well, he's clearly extremely loyal.
Ah.
Let me guess, it's inverted.
So yeah, you collect all these little eco spheres, but it's just part of the tutorial. It's not like OG Blue Eco.
Gotcha. Oh, you can climb ladders now.
Oh yes.
That in the last game?
I think so. I wonder why my controller vibration's not working.
I don't know. Is
That
it
feels
on?
weird. Should be. Yeah,
It's on.
there we go. Maybe that'll work, because it just kind of vooved in my hand.
Hmm. How odd. I mean, it's nice of you to tell you nice of them to tell you the controls while they're sending you through this death.
Yup. There are some pitfall areas that will catch you and you can come back up from.
Yeah. I just think it's amusing that the tutorial is framed as like death race here.
Oh, things will get a lot more deadly in a moment. When you get the first of... So, the gun that you get in Jak 2 is the same that you'll get in Jak 3. It's called a Morph Gun. And they get different modifications to add to it that turns it from like a shotgun to a rifle to a machine gun. And they're all
Guessing
based
that's where
on...
the morphing comes in.
Yes. And it's all based on the different ecos from the first game.
You haven't forgotten what I taught you, Jack. Anyone can make a few measly jumps. Now let's see how you rate against the living. Readjust the
Aha.
focus.
Get the gun right away.
The arena for full combat.
Yep.
Prepare the arena for full combat.
I just said
In Jak 2, it takes a while to get the scatter gun, the first morph gun,
Prepare the warrior.
Yeah.
but in this game, it's right there.
actual people with actual weapons.
Well, I mean, they already introduced it in the last game, so.
Oh yeah.
Bring them on. All right, that's it. I want to be on his shoulder.
Ooh, that's some spinning.
So this is based on the red eco from the first game, which was the one that made you super strong, which is why it's, you know, this brute force up close kind of a thing.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Ooh. He just had a Terminator moment.
And you can see in the corner that the eco meters are different now. And you can see Jak actually, if you continuously fire, he'll do different actions. He'll actually turn the gun sideways. If you saw it right there.
That's neat. It's nice that they spend the time to do that.
Oh, that's one of the reasons these games are so charming. Is they're very detailed and it's, you know, silly material taken seriously.
Yeah.
You can
Oh yeah,
see
you got
it's
the whole
that,
yin yang thing going now.
Yep, which is also the seal of Mar. Well, similar. Oop, and it automatically turned me into Dark Jak. I think I have Dark... No, I don't have Dark Bomb yet. Whoop!
Oh ho. Trying to deny you the platform.
Oh, did I turn into Dark Jak, or did it turn me into Dark Jak? Oh yeah, it turned me into Dark Jak.
Well, seems like it was useful at the time.
Well, and it's part of the story too. Damus will comment on it.
So they have to make sure you do it.
Yeah, so it automatically is doing it. Even
you get the
Daxter's
nice.
Yep. See? Now he's kind of coming out of it.
I was going to comment on the light showing you where you're going.
Something you're not telling us, Animal Man?
He has been touched with
Dark Eagle, my liege.
Our boy here gets all mean and nasty when you piss him off. So don't piss him off. Word to the wise.
Ah, then he is dangerous, and that could be useful. Your bravery has earned you your first battle amulet. If you are victorious in 2 more arena fights, you will earn your citizenship to Spargus. Here is a gate pass to allow free passage in and out of the city. But beware,
Okay.
there is no
Any other collectibles I'd like to introduce?
The desert is less kind than I. And for your victory, a gun mod is your prize.
Oh, yeah.
You immediately get the blaster, too.
Hey, what do I get? Nothing. As usual.
Dun dun dun. Was he really there?
He was.
Yeah, probably.
See, and this is based on the yellow eco, which was the fireball projectile from before. So now this is the more aimed weapon.
Yeah, see, it's got a laser sight going.
Yep. Especially because you can't, like, aim specifically. Do you want to continue more with the beginning, or you want to jump forward?
What else is here?
You are about to hop on the flut birds and eat rats. So it's kind of boring.
Okay,
It's a fun part of the
we'll skip
game.
it.
It's a fun part of the gameplay, but it is one of the times where it suddenly just kind of really changes suddenly.
Yeah.
So now I'm just going to load this game.
Okay.
So this is much later in the game. I've unlocked a bunch of armor. I've unlocked the jet board, and in fact, I can go over to inventory. And you can see, so there's all these vehicles that you unlock. I don't know if we'll get to playing with those too much, but maybe we'll save that more for Jack X playing with
I
vehicles.
mean, whenever we get to play that, then we'll definitely be seeing lots of driving the buggies.
Oh, yeah. I have all but 2 of the Morph Gun mods. The one of them actually turns gravity off, which is fun. For everybody except for you, and then the other one's just a screen clearing missile. But I'll show all these weapons in game. You unlock various pieces of armor, which increases your health.
I was gonna say, I thought he looked a little different.
Yup. And then here are the Dark Jack powers. The only one that actually doesn't carry over from the first game is Giant Dark Jack, which kind of sucks, but also was basically just ripping off Hulk.
Yeah.
But they add invisibility and strike, and then I have 3 of the 4 Light Jack powers. I have not unlocked flight yet. And then these are all key items related to the story, like the Seal of Mar, these eco crystals that are gonna help stop the apocalypse.
Yeah, you usually want to do that.
This is the jet board.
Oh, there we go.
That allows for faster travel and exploration. And you can do tricks. There's whole mini games where you have to use the board.
Okay, so what is it you were doing at this point?
I'm gonna go. So right now in the story, I actually just broke through a barrier so we can make it to Freedom HQ. Which, if you notice, these blue guards are actually part of Torn's new force. But this particular area of the map is controlled by the new Crimson Guards, which are all robots.
Ah.
But
I'm
this
guessing that's
game,
who the blue guys are shooting at.
yep, that's what these things are. And you do get this neat little attack that I don't think is in the first game, or the second game. But let's do a little combat now. So, showed this the first part of the scattergun. This is the second mod for it. The ground concussion. Ooh,
That's
is
not
there a
bad.
secret? Oh, just some light eco. Once you find precursor orbs that are in boxes, they're usually just replaced with eco. And so then we have the RPG,
Oh, there you go.
which does huge amounts of damage.
Yeah, I see they even have a little screen effect to make it look more powerful.
Oh yes. Here's the blaster. It's very standard. This is the second modification, the beam reflexor, where each shot does slightly less damage, but it is really not spawning much in for me to fight right now. The shots all bounce.
Like I say, it's your standard ricochet weapon.
Yep. But you can, like, combine... So if I use the spin attack and hit the fire button and there's another enemy nearby, you'll immediately target it. Or you can jump, spin, and fire, and just fire everywhere. And you can do that with basically all of the guns. Which
That's
gets real chaotic when you... This is the Vulcan, so this is the base form that is included in Jack 2. And then this is its second form, which is the Arc Wielder.
I was gonna say, is this gonna be the lightning gun?
And of course, this is based on the Blue Eco. And then this is the Needle Laser, which is a homing weapon.
Yeah, check that action out.
Fires a lot of ammo, but when you're surrounded, ooh.
So what is that big question mark thing?
Those are mini challenges that you can do to get precursor orbs. Here, I'll show one off.
I was gonna say, because you flew through by one, you...
See, you give it Metalhead.
Can't reach this spot in time. Good luck.
Ah!
Oh, so close.
Not so good, man. Have another go?
Doesn't help when the KG bots are right there.
Yeah.
Ah!
Oh,
Ah!
oh.
I thought it was actually on the rail. It's next to it. Okay.
Yep. Oh, so you're trying to do the wrong thing the whole time? I thought you were just trying to jump up there.
Very nice. You own this town.
But, like I said, the jetboard allows for some more interesting maneuverability. And now, so it said secrets are available. Secrets are actually part of the upgrade system in this game. So you go over to secrets, and you can increase your weapon ammo capacity. You can increase rate of fire, damage, the Peacemaker radius, which actually I'm going to buy. Ammo efficiency for certain weapons. Jack 2 and Jack 3 have Ratchet and Clank references. There is actually a billboard in Jack 2 in part of the city that has Ratchet and Clank on it. And then you can buy... there are gun courses in this game that you can get challenges through. And you can buy one this secret that themes it all to Ratchet and Clank. And then you actually can unlock more vehicles using precursor orbs. There's the crazy stuff, small head mode. I'll add Cleaver's diaper, because he looks like he's wearing a diaper. You can make it bad weather all the time. You can slow the movies down. You can make it a mirror game. You can level select. You can turn on a turbo jetboard in the desert, which is clutch. Have the homing attacks, and then there's the art galleries and the scene player. But there is more. You can eventually unlock. I think it's in cheats. Like unlimited eco, unlimited ammo, and unlimited health too.
That sounds convenient.
But those options don't become available until much later in the game, I believe, or once you've beaten it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
here's
remember, like,
KG bots. So this
Saints
is the
Row
weapon.
lets you
This is the weapon based on the Dark Eco.
unlock
This
that
is the
stuff. So,
Peacemaker.
like in Saints Row 3, you can basically become invincible.
Oh yeah. So the Peacemaker will arc between enemies. And it's basically the de facto missile launcher. But eventually you do unlock an actual like missile launcher, but it's a screen clearing weapon. Now you might start to notice a familiar portion of the map from Jak 2. We're back in the slums.
Uh-huh.
But speed this up. We'll hop on a zoomer. Ooh, actually, I mean, we gotta show off some Dark Jak.
No, we just did Dark Jak though. It was in the
Well, yes and no. We showed some Dark Jak.
You had some powers to show off here.
Like Dark Strike, and then Dark Blast. Where those lightning arcs, the more enemies you're surrounded by, it arcs out and hits them all. So now that I've hurt myself a little bit, let's use Light Jak healing.
Yeah.
And
Well, you better leave because you kind of pissed off the guys who are supposed to be on your side.
oh no, they're dead. One of the other Dark Jak abilities is a shield. That's just impenetrable, but it drains your eco as you use it. And it actually does do damage. And then you can slow down time.
I always like slowing down time.
But the moment you take a weapon out, you lose your Light Jak, I think.
Well, I guess they didn't want it to be too powerful.
I think once you unlock the flight, you can actually stay more stable. I'm trying to see if that anything will give me some more dark eco, but nothing seems to want to give me more dark eco.
I was gonna say, you got any more guns?
Nah, we showed most of them. Oh, we didn't show this one off. This is one of my favorites.
I got a drone.
Yep, and you can actually hit the button again and it'll freeze in place.
That's nice.
Let's
I know how we're doing on time. Do you want to do a story
we're
mission
at
before we quit?
26 minutes. We're at 26 minutes, so yeah, I'm on my way to a story mission now.
So we'll hit that, and that'll be a good stopping point. Of course, you had to stop and grab that precursor orb.
Show off some jetboard tricks. You can get a little speed boost with a spin. You can, there's a few different moves here. Ooh, what do we got? What do we got? What do we got?
What's in the box?
It's in the box! And so now that I have a morph gun and a vehicle, you can actually hand Daxter the gun, and he'll fire while you drive.
You didn't actually want to shoot those guys, but that's fine. That's not worry about it.
And then if you want to put them away, you just hold down the directional button that equips the guns.
Let's hide some loading. Yeah, we played Mass Effect and we didn't get to show off any elevators. Even though I played it for way too long.
Hello, fellow peeps and cronies. That's right.
I feel like of any of the episodes we want to go a little longer, we'll let this one go a little longer.
It's about time you two got here. What took you so long?
Sorry, we only had a war in the way.
Great work, Jak. Let me be the first to officially apologize for the city.
Forget about it. I've got my own interest in this.
Well, what we know right now is there's a huge dark planet builder bearing.
So, have we just not run into her again, or is they written that woman from the first game out of the story?
Who?
I don't know. The tech.
Kira?
Yeah, whatever. her name
She's
is.
in the room right now.
Also,
Oh, there
her.
she is. Okay, I didn't see her.
Can mean only one thing. Someone is trying to awaken vast precursor technology.
I think Vigor's behind it. Or Errol. Or maybe...
Oh, wait till you hear about my adventures in the wasteland. So there I was, facing a whole brood of slobbering metalheads, when all of a sudden...
I don't think robots slobber.
Looks
I
like
don't
a
know.
large-scale assault. Multiple targets inbound. You up for some action, Jack?
Look who you're talking to. Let's rock and roll, Dax.
All right, let's see. Ooh.
Ah. So you can shoot that thing.
Oh yes.
It's always good when you're not kind of just obligated to let them all land.
Mm. Uh-oh.
Yeah, they're shooting at you. I don't know why the camera keeps pointing at the... Whoa. You didn't want to shoot him.
Yeah. The game does not care about non-combatants. Ooh, that hurt.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be
Laser.
too careful about careful about friendly fire.
Nope. Uh-oh. Boom, gotcha.
Yeah, they seem to have a good amount of guns.
Oh, actually, I should switch to the arc wielder
Yeah.
because I unlocked a bonus that basically makes it super strong against robots. Ooh, should heal
Yeah.
real quick. Oh yeah.
There you go. Also, I feel like they should jump more often. Because they keep getting you with those sweeping lasers.
Yeah, I keep not noticing them when they go off at first.
I mean, we do try to make sure people remember that, hey, you're splitting their focus here, so normally we'd be more attentive when playing a video game.
There we go.
Last one. Nice shooting. Find your way back here, Jack.
The best defense.
Yep.
Good offense.
The game doesn't really seem to care that you're shooting a bunch of your allies.
Nope, it really doesn't. Which is kind of nice because of how easy it is to do it. Like, it's not that I necessarily want to, it's just that it happens.
Yeah. Like, they either have to make that harder or not penalize you for it.
My boy, you're the best man we've got to lead an expedition into the catacombs.
Please, please.
Oh, good
Let us
God.
not be too hasty. Are you sure you want this dark ego freak contaminating the hallowed halls of our glorious precursors?
Wow.
We're
What a
tired
creep.
of your scheming, Viger.
I've got the answer you're looking for.
Oh, Viger
My
is a
precursor
creep.
ones have given me the knowledge to turn on the planetary defense grid, if you beg me to do so.
Jack's always gotten us through thick and thin. I'm with him.
Here, here.
You washed up, vegan.
Vegan, you idiot.
Whatever.
Count Viger, I hereby dissolve the city council and strip you of your title, command, and all
Wait.
privileges.
She was able to do that the whole time?
Sight.
What? How dare you? I offered you mercy, but now you will all burn in the precursor fires of creation. I swear it.
By the way, he has tried to kill you multiple times at this point in the
We
game.
can't continue to repel such large
Yeah, and he's so
The
humble.
war factory has got to be shut down. The problem is, the factory is shielded and has gate codes on every access point. Most old KG door ciphers were kept hidden in the main system at the power room. If you can break into the system, you may be able to unlock the war factory doors to get
So
inside.
is she like blind or is she having some kind of premonition?
She is blind, but she's psychic.
Okay.
Personally,
So both.
I think you're crazy to go
Yeah.
down there. But good luck.
Well, let's rock and roll.
Monkey Bird can tell this is going to go well.
Oh, you mean Pecker?
I guess. I don't know what his name is.
They called him Pecker earlier.
I don't remember, man. I haven't played this game before.
I specifically pointed it out because it's humorous. Let's hop on a zoomer and see if we can't just jet right to this. This area can be a little labyrinthian.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to bank to the right. I want to get enough Dark Eco to fully charge again, so that I can show off the other Dark Eco super attack. Because you get 2 Dark Eco supers.
Right.
The Blast and the Bomb. I showed the Blast. But the Dark Eco Bomb has such a great sound effect. It's almost... It's a little bit like the Seismic Charge from the Slave 1 in Attack of the Clones and Mando. Then there's these things.
That's definitely effective.
Oh, yes. So now, to clarify, I believe this is an area I have been in before in this playthrough. But now I'm going to a different part of it. So there's that Metroidvania element to it. Come on, give me some Dark Eco.
Well, since you're looking for it, no.
Well, the Eco tends to come from living creatures more. So, like, if I were to go fight metalheads, they would basically all spawn Dark Eco.
So,
but
the metalheads are not... Oh, so you can't just blow that up?
Nope. But that's how the light eco powers actually add more to the puzzle element.
Right. I would have just assumed you could shoot it.
Oops.
Oh, so close. And that's the kind of thing that would happen to me all the time when I was playing Maximo. Which is why I couldn't get into it. Just wasn't used to 3D platformers.
Alright, get a little more light eco back.
Which is good because I think you're going to need it. So what would you do here if you run out of light eco? Would you just have to try to dodge them at full speed?
Yeah, I think so. Because... See? No break.
Well, looks like you're going to have to.
Wait for it. Oops.
Well, that went well. I do always like it when you can do a little extra attack to get some extra demo, extra distance.
Oh yeah. I love the way this game functions in so many ways. Is it a perfect game? No, but it's so good. Let me think here. Pretty sure if I hit that button. No, do I have to punch the button? Might have to punch the button.
I was gonna say, since you can't actually aim your guns. Seems like it might not actually be possible to do that with the gun.
Yeah, I don't think it is. It keeps thinking the turret's an enemy.
So you can't like go into first person mode or anything to
Nope. The closest you get to like being able to directly aim at an enemy is spin attacking one enemy and then hitting the fire button. But watch this. Ooh, Dark Eco.
Okay, well, hurry up and grab that, and we'll finish up.
This is on. Alright. Get a head start on it. See, that's, again, one of the things I love about this game is it just continuously incorporates everything that you gain. Oh, a little hidden area with a precursor orb and some health. And some ammo.
Well, you could use that.
I don't think that breaks.
Yeah, I don't know. Why don't you do what you're gonna do, Ian, and we'll...
I'm working on it. I gotta keep playing. That's how this works. Where are some more of those creatures? Oh, there's the button.
Here's the button. It's a
Flip the switch.
Your little Jacob slider going there.
You guys keep the surprises coming. The power room door is now open, Jack.
Alright, we will go outside, find some enemies, and see if I have enough dark eco to fire off the dark bomb real quick.
Okay, and I think that's when we will stop.
Yep. Switcheroo.
I see what they did there.
I won't go right to the power room. What I'm gonna do, because we have actually not directly seen any metalheads yet, I'm gonna go to where there are metalheads.
Yeah, because you keep talking about them, but I don't know what they are.
They're in a different part of the city, but it's kind of right around the corner here.
I mean, I do like that they're running battles just going.
The game is immensely atmospheric.
We need more men.
So this is actually a bar that you first see in Jack 2, but the original owner dies and Daxter takes it over. And that's why there's a giant, like, statue of him above it.
Of course there is.
And this is the part of the city that's been infested by metalheads.
So that's interesting. You have 3 factions now.
Oh yeah. There's more combat out there. I just wanted to show, like, this is what this area looks like.
Yeah.
Let's hop on the jet board and just roll out there.
Got the Zerg creep over there.
What?
I guess that's you don't remember the Zerg. They have the creep from in StarCraft. See, this is a little awkward though, in that like you can't aim very well, and they start shooting back at you because you shot them. And you're like, well, I didn't mean to.
Once I stop, like, soaking up the dark eco from a distance, I know I'm at full. Heh.
Alright, so where are the yellow things?
Those are metalhead skull gems that you use to mostly trade at those secret stations to do the challenges that let you unlock precursor orbs. So now, Dark Jack. Now for the Dark Bomb.
Okay, so it's basically a ground pound.
It's a ground pound. Yeah, mostly. But it's fun. I like it. When you unlock, like, New Game Plus, you get, or really the end of the game, some of the cheat codes that you can unlock allow you to use the Dark Jack invisibility at whim when you're Dark Jack, which is fun. That's the closest thing to stealth you really get in this game. Yeah. But for the most part, it's just a puzzle element in the catacombs and stuff. Bang! Rude.
Should you really not be shooting those guys?
So now, unless you want to show off any of the desert vehicles, I
No, we'll have
that's about
to
it.
say that. Well, yeah, we'll have to say that for some other time. All right, so there we kind of got to see all the combat coming together.
Yep. Jack and Daxter, like I've been saying, it does really well to take everything you did before and build on it. You know, while there is the sort of, you know, you have to unlock the stuff that you lost in the last game in Jak 3, a lot of the things like the Morph Gun weapons, like their base forms, the Peacemaker, the Scattergun, the Blaster, and the Vulcan, you unlock earlier in Jak 3, because there's also 2 more mods for each one. Then, I mean, you get Dark Jak right away, and it's under more control. And once you unlock Light Jak, once you get that first healing power, Jak actually talks about how he actually feels lighter. He doesn't feel as angry. Like the dark eco has kind of receded a little bit. Yeah. So while he's still fully able to go Dark Jak and be super powerful, he is much less of an angry person in this game. He's calmed down a little bit because the light eco has brought some balance to him. Which I'm guessing is kind of thematically shown with like the way they've changed the meter. Yeah. Plus, that's also the seal of Mar, the seal of his ancestry, sort of incorporated into it. So then you get the light and dark, you get the yin yang. It adds to the themes of it. And frankly, just these games are full of cool characters and good story. And if you have not played them, I highly recommend it. I mean, even if you want to sort of jump over the first one because it is so much different, they're just phenomenal games that I can never recommend enough. The Jak and Daxter community is constantly just, champing at the bit about, hey, are we ever going to get more Jak and Daxter? At this point, I don't know. I mean, what's interesting is there's actually been some discussion of that as recent as recording, where the Jak and Daxter community has become a little more vocal and saying like, "Hey, is there any chance that we might be getting these? Now that they've just that they've done Last of Us Part 2 and they only ever usually work on one game at a time." People are like, "Is there anything?" But what's interesting is, reportedly, Naughty Dog is now working on remastering Last of Us for the PS5, which, like, I don't understand why they had to remaster that game. Isn't it already on PS4? Yeah. You can just play that version on the PS5. Yeah. But there are some people from Naughty Dog who have been like, we'd rather be working on a new Jak and Daxter. It's a charming world with a really deep lore, so it has this balance of silly and serious, Well, I guess part of it also is that, like, after they'd finished Jak and Daxter games, the founders of the studio left. Yeah. So they're not, they different leadership now. The studio's changed a lot in the time between the PS2 era and now. I mean, was Amy Hennig there? I can't say I remember. I'm trying to remember if that's where she used to work. I know she worked on Uncharted because So she came and went there, is what I'm saying. Because she was a big part of like the Uncharted games, and then she left there. Yeah, because I know they had actually brought her in to work on a Star Wars game that got canceled. Yeah, but it was supposed to be she left Naughty Dog. Uncharted-esque. Yeah. But, well, we all know what happened with most of EA's Star Wars games. At least we got one good game out of it. Not gonna get into it. Actually, Battlefront 2 became a pretty good game. But, yeah. I know that's I didn't play that one, so I don't know. I just know the first one just didn't feel good. The first one, especially if you played it. Especially if you played it in third-person mode, which was clearly just like putting your character in while still having you play with first-person controls. It was bad. The second one's better, but Jak and Daxter, it's genuinely one of my favorite trilogies of all time. Jak X Combat Racing, I remember playing the hell out of that, and I've never been that much of a racing game person, but it's like Crash Team Racing turned up to 11 because you get, like more violent weapons. Eventually, like the super weapon is like the Peacemaker getting attached to your weapon to attach to your vehicle.
We going kind of like a Twisted Metal direction here, or
it does have game modes where you can do that. There is racing, and then there's like combat arenas too. But in the racing, you blow other people up too.
Of course, now I'm thinking about like the Mortal Kombat kart racing thing they put in one of the PS2 Xbox games as a bonus. I forget what they called it, but it's basically Mario Kart but violent.
But they do add, like, you can customize your vehicles, do paint jobs, alter the parts. Like, it's weirdly in depth for essentially being an edgy kart racer.
Yeah. Well, I guess they're going to do the spin-off. I mean, they probably already had at least partially the engine from Jak 3, so
yeah.
You spin it out and make it its own. You can spin that out, make its own game, and spend time fleshing it out.
That's essentially what they did. And funny enough, to even show that more, this was one of the games early in my gaming life that actually had a function that rewarded you for having other games as a save file. Because if you got Jak X and you had a save file from Jak 3, you unlocked one of the vehicles from Jak 3 in Jak X.
I'm trying to think where the one of the first things I would have seen, but it's hard to remember now.
That is definitely, I'm pretty sure that was one of the earliest instances that I ever encountered. Not saying that it's the earliest instance of it happening.
Yeah.
Just that I
mean, you're talking about stuff being early in your gaming life, and I'm thinking, like, I sold people copies of Jak and Daxter.
Yeah, when I first got a PS2, it was the big pack that came with Jak and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy, Sly Cooper, and the Thievius Raccoonus, because, really gotta have those long titles. And then I think, like, Gran Turismo 3.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking, you know what? I'm not quite that old because I wasn't... I didn't start working at Game Crazy till 2003, so I'd been selling people used copies because that would have been when Jak 3 came out.
No.
Yeah, the first Jak. I'm sorry, it's when it started development. Yeah, so 2004 is Jak 3.
When did the first Jak and Daxter come out?
I think around 2001.
December 3rd, 2001.
2001.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was one of the first games, if not a launch title for the PS2, and wow, did it really actually show how good of a console that was.
Oh, absolutely. They definitely showed off. Like, they spent a lot of time in the engine. I mentioned, I don't know if I remember to mention it in the first episode of our 3-part special, but they, like, repeatedly rewrote the engine to as they figured things out about the PlayStation 2 to get more power out of it.
Yeah. And it shows. There are certain games, especially these days, there are a lot of games that they don't feel like the developers, that the people involved were passionate about it. Whether it's because there was too much producer interference, that it just completely drowned out the developers, or
I feel like part of it is just how big the teams have gotten. Like, you can't really have that much personal effect on a game that 500 people have worked on.
Oh, absolutely. But at the same time, I mean, to bring up Battlefront 2 again, if you play through the campaign for that, it feels like a bunch of Star Wars nerds wrote it.
Yeah.
Like, it makes references to the books, it makes references to Rebels, it makes these really broad references. But it's just really rare, to my eye these days, to find games that feel like the level of passion project that Jak and Daxter felt like.
I mean, you're going to hit that a lot in the indie space where it's like a small team.
Oh, absolutely. But
when
you're considering what is considered a AAA release, and I'm pretty sure this was considered a AAA release for the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's since microtransactions came along, it's been a totally different sphere. It's been a totally different world for that.
Well, also you got the exploding budget, so the big companies have been like increasingly conservative.
Oh yeah,
kind of and they want to file off all the rough edges and sell the games to as many people as possible.
Yeah, and then they funnel all the money up to the CEOs and whatnot, and never actually put all that money back into paying their workers well enough or developing better games, because they could, as Jedi Fallen Order proved, just make single-player games that people like and make plenty of money off of it.
But when you're that big,
they just don't want to.
They don't want to. Yeah, they don't want to make money. They want to make all the money, or
exactly.
else it's not worth it for them. Which is
kind
of frustrating.
I'm not going to go into a full Jim Sterling style rant about the gaming industry.
If people want to hear that, they can actually watch Jim Sterling.
Yeah. Or
I understand he has a YouTube channel.
Yes. But I just, to me, video games are art when they're done right. These games were art. These games had passion. These games had a great story, great control schemes. That is just a great capsule of video games of the time.
I kind of missed out on it because, again, I kind of alluded to the fact that I was early 20s when these games came out. So I'm like, do I really want to play a 3D platformer for kids?
Meanwhile, when the first Jak and Daxter came out, I would have been 7.
Yeah, you were target audience.
Basically.
And I'm like, I played, if I want to play a 3D Mario, I got 3D Mario. If I want to play a 3D platformer, I got Mario 64 over here.
In fact, you want to know something kind of adorable that I just remembered that I probably should have brought up in the Jak 2 episode, but still relevant. The first time I ever pulled an all-nighter was playing Jak 2. Yep. That was the first time I ever played an all-nighter. I wasn't even playing with other people. It's just such a good game. I just kept playing it.
Yeah, I have to be much more careful nowadays not to stay up too late playing video games.
Well, yeah, but again, this would have been me in 2008, 2009 on the weekend at my dad's place. So
when
much different time than now.
At 22, I'd
the economy
get 3 hours sleep and then open the video store at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
So
the economy was only on the precipice of its first collapse in my lifetime.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm not quite so young now, so I cannot stay up all night. As people have probably noticed through these 3 episodes, where I've been stumbling over my words constantly because I didn't get to sleep early enough.
Meanwhile, I probably didn't sleep enough, but this is Jak and Daxter, so I'm just excited.
Very excited, yeah. Also, you drink coffee. I've been drinking decaf tea.
That's not going to wake you up very much.
No. I try to stay away from caffeine. It's not good for me.
Yeah.
But I did want to, before we leave the topic, I do feel like there is a downside to the passion of Naughty Dog, which is it kind of led into a crunch culture.
Well, yes.
Even back then, they were crunching heavily, and they were saying, people are passionate. That doesn't make it good.
No.
They're trying to say, we never said people had to stay here and work 18-hour days and sleep in their office. They just did it because they loved it. And if you're a good manager, you kind of should be stopping them from doing this, not being like, hey, we're glad you love working here so much. No, you're letting your employees destroy their lives.
Yeah.
This is going to catch up with all of you eventually.
Yep.
Don't do it. But now they've got that culture built into the studio, and they're making bigger games that take longer to develop and spending more time crunching on them.
And of course, one of the other big issues is that it's also just built more into gaming as the game development culture.
Yeah, it's expected, and it shouldn't be.
Yeah, which I'm not a fan of. It bugs me because as someone who loves video games, I want to play lots of video games, but there's also sometimes where I'm like, do I really want to financially support this game when these people have been abusing their workers. But at the same time, as someone who works in an industry where, let me tell you, the workers, as someone who's worked a handful of different jobs throughout the last 10 or so years, well, about 10 years, employees are never treated anywhere near as well as they should be. It's bad.
It's frustrating because you talk about like the profits being funneled to the top. The punishment for something not doing well is funneled down to the bottom.
Yeah.
So if like a game underperforms, a bunch of people get laid off,
or even if it performs well,
the executive still gets a bonus.
Yeah, even if it performs well, there have been several reports for the last few years, like every year that EA will turn around these huge profits and then lay off like 500 people so that they can inflate their numbers.
Is much more guilty of that than.
Yeah, Activision does it too.
Activision, I think, is probably the worst for that. Like they'll be, hey, our most profitable year ever, and these 100,000 people are out of work.
Yeah,
because we had executive bonuses to pay.
Basically, and they would even have plenty of money to pay those bonuses. They just don't want to.
It's frustrating because it's like, they like binge and purge with employees. Like, couldn't you have just kept these people on instead of like laying them all off so you can duck your end of quarter numbers and then hiring a bunch of new people?
Yeah, they see it as much better to then do that and terminate all those people's benefits and hire people as contractors so they don't have to give them benefits.
Yeah, I think the system's this is like just a corporate thing in general. As the system is broken that way, I think what we really need to do is find a way to not incentivize that kind of behavior, because otherwise, they're not gonna stop. Otherwise,
you have to speak with your wallet when it comes to this. That's why when there is a game that I really don't want to give money specifically to that production company, I will try to find it used, even if that means giving money to GameStop, which is not the greatest thing either. But
I've worked video game retail.
Yeah, well, and I don't know if you know.
A bunch of executives got a golden parachute, while I didn't even get properly I didn't even get a proper notice of termination when Crazy went out of business. Yeah, like I don't know when I officially stopped being an employee of that company. They didn't bother to tell me.
Yeah. But it's just this game. They just don't make them like this in the AAA space right now.
It's hard.
Yeah,
it's really hard with so many people working on it and such big budgets. And like I know I previously complained about the way that not complained necessarily, but notice that I don't feel like a lot of AAA games feel as different as they used to, because they've settled into like, okay, this is the way you do it. And so all the games kind of play within limits exactly the same. Like I remember I was playing a demo for one of the recent Tomb Raider games, and like this doesn't really feel different than Uncharted. Like in the way it controls and what's interesting is, well, that definitely happens. Like you take Uncharted, the new Tomb Raider, and Horizon Zero Dawn. They have very similar gameplay elements. Yeah. And whilst, that might not be the greatest thing, to me, I never played Uncharted. Yeah. So I got more accustomed to it in Tomb Raider and then in Horizon Zero Dawn. But what also kind of sucks is because there can be that lens of, this looks like it plays just like this other game. Sometimes people don't give certain games a try, like Horizon Zero Dawn. Yeah, it controls a lot like Lara Croft does in the new Tomb Raider games. But oh my god, it's so vastly different that if you were to look at it and just go, it just plays like Tomb Raider, that's doing it a disservice. Yeah, I don't want to say like it's bad that there's like a standard operating procedure, but it just I feel like it kind of leeches the identity out of a lot of games.
Oh, absolutely.
Unless they really go above and beyond to do something different.
Absolutely. Like Horizon Zero Dawn goes above and beyond to make itself different, but not every game does.
Yeah, so it's like, it's not a bad game, but it's like, well, what's the identity of this game?
Yeah.
And as someone who grew up with the older games, where like games in the same genre could still like feel wildly different,
Mm-hmm.
and like control differently, and it's not like your skills didn't necessarily perfectly map from one game to the another, which I feel like is something that you've had problems with when you feel like this game feels really bad. It's like, well, it's because you're used to modern games where there's very standardized controls, and you're expecting to just be able to just roll in and play the game the way you expect it to.
Well, and see, while I do appreciate unique gameplay and things like that, I do feel like there are certain things where it's like, why is jump on the top button of the 4 buttons? Like, that bothers me when I'm playing Breath of the Wild. I love that game, but I go to jump and I'm hitting, what, Y? No, X.
Can't you remap the controls, though?
I haven't looked at it.
That's why, like, for instance, I feel really bad about you getting upset about Shadow of the Colossus because we were distracted and didn't notice the remap control menu. you could have just put jump on X. It would have been fine.
I mean, when it comes to Breath of the Wild, I adapted to that a lot easier than the other games because that game plays really well. But, I mean, there is a sort of, like, I mean, the puppeteering of Assassin's Creed, the way that gameplay was originally meant, where each button kind of corresponded to a part of the body, that makes sense.
Yeah, so that's part of the thing is
like it should be something you could use as the base for a standard.
You would have people with like different philosophies, like like maybe like the people who were designing Assassin's Creed were like, oh, you press X to hold X to run and jump because you're controlling your legs.
Yeah.
But like, say, Fumito Ueda was like, oh, you press triangle to jump because it's at the top of the controller.
Yeah.
So like he had a logic to it, but it was different than other people's logic. And
see, for me, I also find that when I'm using a controller, my thumb tends to rest a little more towards the lower of the 4 buttons. And since jump can be a mechanic you're using frequently, the fact that it's boom right there, it feels right.
Yeah.
Having to go up to hit that button doesn't feel right.
I feel like that's how the standards kind of came to be. And I'm not necessarily talking about that so much. It's just like there's a lot of like, they standardize how far you're moving when you press the analog stick, and like I said, I don't want to say it's a bad thing because being able to be like, okay, I know how to play this genre of game and just jump right in. It's just sometimes it just feels like, what game am I playing?
See, for me, I like, let's take something standard and add something cool to it. Okami. Standard jumping 3D platformer mechanics. But then you have the Celestial Brush.
That's why I want to make sure like I'm expressing them. I don't necessarily want to be like complaining about standardized controls because objectively they're not really bad.
But it's when they only rely on standardized that can make things more meh.
Yeah, I think that's more what I'm getting at is sometimes like, I just feel like it's almost like how like, if I close my eyes, I'm like I'd have no idea what game I was playing.
It's almost like how when I see advertisements for mobile games, whether it's your memeable Raid Shadow Legends or anything else, the titles of them feel like they just jumbled up a handful of gaming words and went, that's a title. I mean, Raid, Shadow Legends. You could literally just take a handful, a group of commonly used words in video games, shake them up, and get that title. And I feel like a lot of mobile games kind of feel like that. So it's that sort of like, all right, we're taking some standard terms and standard things and saying, oh, here's a game, and it feels like it lacks identity.
Yeah, so like you don't want like the assembly line think, well, the game has to have this, this, and this. Yay, we made a good game.
Yeah. But, all right, let's take basic control scheme that is relatively universal and then add cool stuff to the actual gameplay. That's what I like. That's what I think helps make a really good game, because then you don't have to spend as much time thinking, oh man, what button are we putting jump on? It's like, all right,
So-
if this is going to be this sort of style, we sort of set it up this way, and it works like that. I mean, here's something stupid that just has always felt right to me when it comes to Jak and Daxter. Consider your basic functions on the PlayStation controller. When it comes to the attacks, the punch and the spin, the punch is on the square, which kind of feels right. His hand kind of becomes a giant cube as he punches. And then the spin attack is on the circle. You spin in a circle. That's always kind of felt right.
I mean, you did pulling things back on topic. I did get the sense with Jak and Daxter is they took a lot of standard elements and they kind of put
they
their
themselves helped create too.
Because like I saw a lot of like cliche stuff in there, but it seemed like well executed. Like the plot turns like, oh well, I've seen this plot before, and these are like standard things that you see in a lot of 3D platformers. But they did seem like they had it with a lot of polish and a lot of thoughtful implementation.
Yeah, and even when
they
it
didn't
comes
just
to
stick it in because that's what a 3D platform is supposed to have.
Yeah, and even when it comes to the story stuff, the way they fleshed it out even more in Jak 2 and 3, and I mean, hey, we'll throw a spoiler warning here. The amount of time travel shenanigans that take place in the second game, where it's, okay, now your characters have all jumped into the future, where they actually originated from, and Samos kind of remembers the past in the future a little bit, and you are also responsible for saving your child self and then sending Jak and Samos back in time to Sandover Village to grow up to then travel back to the future to become the hero that the city needs. What?
I do like time loop stories. Those are usually fun.
And then it fleshes out that like that time travel is why the world became the way it ends up, where there's the metalheads on the loose and things like that, because the metalheads come through the rift gate when Jak goes to travel to the future. The metalheads go back in time while Jak goes forward. The metalheads destroy everything. An ancestor of Jak's is then later born and becomes the hero that founds Haven City and fights back the metalheads. And his descendant is Damus, who is the father of Jak. Like, what?
Yeah, time loops are fun. I've messed with that.
Like, I was thinking earlier today, like, dang, they could go real crazy and make a game that takes place during the Metalhead War, where you don't even have to follow Jak. You could follow Mar.
No.
Granted, you actually end up finding out Jak is not Jak's original name. Jak's name, he was named after Mar. Because he was meant to be the new hero. And even the precursors will talk directly to Jak through technology, which seems weird because they're all supposed to be dead. Spoiler alert, they're not.
Actually, I think I'm aware of another spoiler there, but I won't blurt it out for people.
But he's referred to as the Time Warrior.
Because they kind of knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, but what's also kind of interesting, I think these games are why I like Breath of the Wild so much. Because these games have a hero that's out of time, that's been moved around in time, and Breath of the Wild, Link wakes up 100 years after everything that's happened. And there's that sense of ancient technology that is somehow more futuristic, but also seems to almost run off magic. And it even ends up having like environmental commentary with the way that the world is like actually slowly dying because so much of it's become industrialized or poisoned, and the eco is starting to disappear. And geez, eco.
Where could that name have come from? Wow. Yeah, that's quite mysterious. I'm not sure if I can figure out where they're going with that.
But bottom line, been talking for a while. Jak and Daxter is a fantastic series.
Yeah. Good news. It's an old Sony game you can actually still buy.
Yep. You can get Jak 1 through 3 and X as a 4-pack on PS4.
It's not necessarily the best version, but by the time you watch this, you may not be able to buy any other version anymore.
Yeah, well, unless you find hard copies.
Yeah. You can tell I'm super happy about them shutting down the PlayStation 3 store.
Yeah, we don't have to go into a whole thing about that, but I mean, game preservation needs to be a thing.
I wish I had more money because there's so many things that are digital only that I just can't afford to buy before they shut it down.
Yep.
And it's frustrating because like even they've already like a bunch of the PS1 classics have already disappeared. Like not even like
it's weird how much Sony is afraid of letting people play the back catalog. I don't get it.
It's baffling to me, especially since like PS1 games were already running an emulation on PS3. Why can I not just play my PS1 classics on my PS4?
Yeah.
I
tell you what, I feel like people would even pay a little extra to add that feature.
I mean,
not that I want to say, hey, charge people more money, but you know what? If they were like, hey, if you give us $5, you can put any PlayStation 1 disc in the PS4, and for $5 you basically get an emulator to play.
They probably don't want to do that just because they can't guarantee every game's going to work.
Well, I know.
And then they have to deal with like support for that.
I know.
But what baffles me is that they're not even like reselling them. It's not even like, hey, we're making these available on PS4 and you have to buy them again.
Do you know?
Like, PS1 games suck. You don't ever want to play them again. Play our new games only.
And even PS2 stuff. The Ratchet and Clank Trilogy collection, not available on PS4. Sly Cooper Trilogy, not available on PS4. Only through PlayStation Now, and it's a streaming service for most of it. And I tried playing a PS3 Ratchet and Clank game on it, and like as soon as the gameplay actually started, I quit. I was like, wow, this looks terrible. I'm done.
Yeah, I know. It's like Sony's run by Kylo Ren or something. I don't know.
Meanwhile, Xbox is killing it.
I can't claim credit for that joke. I saw it online. But
Meanwhile, Xbox is killing it with Games Pass because if they put a game on there, you can download it to the console.
Yeah.
And play it from there.
And they have all kinds of backward compatibility, even though they have way less games to be backward compatible.
Well, and even like there are
like the best way to play Knights of the Old Republic is on the Series X.
Yeah. Yeah. When it comes to playing it on console, yeah.
Honestly, last I heard, the PC version was still pretty broken because they haven't bothered to update it in 15 years.
Oh, I don't know.
So it doesn't play too nice with Windows 10. So unless they fix that, and since the last time I checked into that, it is in fact better than playing it on PC, unless you have like contemporary PCs hanging around, in which case you might also have had a contemporary Xbox. So.
And you know, there was one other game. I think this was the most recent game that Jak was involved in, except for that one Super Smash Bros. Ripoff that they tried to do that no one cared about.
Thinking of something that's going to disappear when they shut down the store. I mean, even if you get a physical copy,
for the PlayStation
DLC.
For the PlayStation Now, they had like a PlayStation Heroes game where I don't know how they explained it, but it basically allowed Sly Cooper, Jak and Daxter, and Ratchet and Clank, and I think Bentley came along with Sly, to all be in a game. But it was like basically for their PlayStation Move service, so it wasn't really that great of a game. It wasn't like we're going to make the greatest crossover ever. Yeah. It was just kind of, yeah, we want you to buy PlayStation Move.
Yeah.
So here's PlayStation 2 icons in the game. Meanwhile, I feel like one of the things that I love is that God of War matured with its newest release. If they did that with Jak and Daxter, oh my god. Because that, of all those games, that's perfectly set up for that, because it is already something that uses tonal shifts.
Yeah. I remember I never got a Move because for some reason you couldn't just buy the controller. It only
Yeah, no,
it only came bundled with the camera. And it's like, well, I
well,
already
no,
have
you needed the camera too.
I had the
Yeah.
camera. That was the problem.
So stupid.
It's like I don't need 2 PlayStation cameras. I just want the controller so I can play a Move game. Why won't you just sell me the controller?
It was so stupid.
Speaking of a game we're probably not going to play on the show. I got Eye of Judgment, and maybe it's because I was trying to play it on an SD TV, but boy, I could not tell the colors apart that I had to tell apart for like, what type of card each card was.
Ugh.
It's like, oh, red and orange look really similar. I don't know what I'm doing.
But you know what? This outro has been really long.
Oh my god, yeah,
there's a lot to talk about with these games. So
yeah, so what led us down this blind alley was that, hey, you can still buy Jack and Daxter. I mean, it's probably not super hard to find original PS2 copies if you have PS2.
Yeah.
But if you've got PS4 or 5, you can just, I don't know, man. They look suspiciously like those PS2 classics that they released on PS4 that were lightly updated.
I mean, they only ever lightly updated it.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be a remaster.
Yeah. I'm just saying it doesn't look like they actually completely ported it to PlayStation 4 like some other.
No, they just did kind of a crap job with it.
Yeah. But it's still the original games, so how bad could it be?
I'll be honest, even though there's some jank, I've played through most of the games at this point. It doesn't really get too much in the way. There's some graphical glitching that maybe makes you go, but
that's part of that. That's another thing that makes me think it's emulation, or at the very least, they're recompiling the games instead of like completely porting them, like they did with some other stuff like Rogue Galaxy. And I'm having trouble thinking of what else they did because they kind of gave up on it right away.
Yeah, it's also a little odd that of those 3, because when you consider Sly, Ratchet, and Jack, those were kind of like, the platformer mascots for the PS2.
Yeah.
And how often does one console manage to gather 3 mascots like that without really kind of pushing one to the front? First off, that's pretty neat. But second, it's really weird how, like, Jack and Daxter basically did not evolve past the PlayStation 2 and the PSP, but has had enough popularity to continue to get ported to the 3 and 4. Meanwhile, Ratchet and Clank got ported to the PS3 without Ratchet deadlocked. But now that port you can only play via PlayStation Now on PS4, and it's not one that you can download. Same thing with Sly Cooper, where they did remaster the first 3 for the PS3. You can only get it through PlayStation Now, again, I'm pretty sure. But it also actually got a sequel on the PS3. It got a 4th game. Weirdly enough, to do with time travel.
Well, at least they're making new Ratchet and Clank games. They did that.
Well, and then there's Ratchet and Clank that has continued to get more new games, which I think works a little more for the sort of more modern AAA video game releasing, because while there's plenty of story in those games, it's not like the lore is as deep and serious as it is in Jack and Daxter, or has such a direct effect on the plot like it does in Sly Cooper.
I mean, they got away with making all the titles double entendres for years, so.
And even into the Nexus.
Yeah. Well, that gets to be a big technology showcase, too, with the...
Yeah, that does look neat.
So
with the solid-state hard drive. That and Horizon Zero Forbidden West is basically why I want a PS5.
Yeah, but that's your lot. I guess, you can get the PS3 remaster if you got a working PS3 and you can find a physical copy. Though that does not include Jack X. So if you want Jack X, you're going to have to go with the PS4 or the original PS2 version.
And let me tell you, Jack X is fun. We'll get there. We'll get there eventually for an episode. Maybe I'll live stream it for haha's sometime.
Something. No, you can just I just wanted to save it for when we could actually play it together.
Oh,
show
yeah.
off the two-player mode.
Oh, absolutely. But
Because not enough of that. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just not watching the right channels that people aren't doing more two-player gameplay online.
can't tell you.
I don't know. But anyhow, if you enjoyed us rambling on for like an hour about about Jack and Daxter, make sure you give this episode a like if you want to catch future episodes, and which will take a look at other game series. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. I've been Dan Mastriani. You can catch me on Twitter at NewTypeCola.
I'm Ian Butterfield. You can find me on Twitter at
Wow.
I'm Ian Butterfield. You can find me on Twitter at Ian G. Butterfield. You can find the show at Retro Games CNCT, Facebook.com/Retro Game Connect, and RetroGameConnect.tumblr.com. Let us know what you thought of the games we played. Let us know if there are any games you'd like us to play. And get our hands on them. We might just play them, or we might just go full Dark Jack on them. Also, if you'd like to tune in to me streaming at any point, you can follow my Facebook page, Butterfield Gaming. I post there every time I go live. And on Twitch, I am geek_lord_42. Feel free to follow me there. Just sort of getting into the streaming more and more. So come by and say hi.
But most importantly, make sure you join us next time on Retro Game Connect.
Cha!